don't know how to start a YouTube video, and I'm still trying to, figure it out. I'm just kind of like, all right, let's just get to it. For one, I'm really excited because we're doing the giveaway, and I can't wait to show you guys the mirrors at the end of the video. Obviously, some of you might just fast forward through, but it's fine. I kind of was thinking how I wanted to film this and how I wanted to be about it, and I can't help but to always just be myself and to be raw and to just say it how it is. So I'm making this video to talk about why I gravitated towards social media so much and why I'm so, I don't know, into it, and why I adore it, and I adore you all, like all of you who have been here and uplifted me and everything, because I joined social media because it uplifted me. It gave me a voice that I wasn't ever able to have in my actual life, unfortunately, and due to my own insecurities and anxiety and decisions that I've made throughout my life. And so social media was always a way for me to have a voice since I was a kid. So why I gravitated towards social media so much, let's bring it back, all the way back to when I was 14, and maybe even prior to that. I had been to 10 plus different schools, definitely 10, maybe it was 12 altogether, like throughout high school. But I had been to 10 or 12 different schools, and keeping a friendship and being able to hold on to friends while switching so many different schools and going to so many different places in the years where you normally would make a best friend, or you would have that group of friends, I wasn't ever able to make that with people. I wasn't ever able to get that. And when I turned 14, I decided to move in with my dad. And from that, I didn't have to switch schools anymore because I was living with my mom. And it's no fault of my mother's. It just happened as to why I switched schools so much. And it wasn't because I ever did anything bad. It worked, and it worked for how hectic our lives were. But anyways, I don't want to talk about just me switching schools. When I was 14, I moved out of my mom's house and I moved into my dad's house. And I was turning 15, and I was going to be a freshman that year. And that year, when I came here to my dad's house, a lot of people left. It was my stepmom. Her and my father had gotten a divorce, and they had been together for 10 years, so since I was 6 years old. And she was like a mom to me. She was like a mother figure, definitely, to me. And I haven't talked to her since then. I haven't talked to her since I was like 15 or something. Anyways, so my stepmom leaves. They get a divorce. And then my sister moves out of my dad's house and moves into my mom's house. And me and her don't talk for then 4 years. And then my brother moves out, and he goes into the Marine Corps and serves in the military for 7 years, I believe is what it was, like 7.5 towards the end. And so it was just me and my dad in this house, and everyone just left at once. It felt like it was just me and my dad, and for years, for like 4 years, my sister left, my stepmom left, and Danny left, and it was just my dad and I in this house. And when people would invite me to go out, like after school, like just to go to McDonald's or just to hang out or go to a bonfire, I was like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna hang out with my dad. He's at the house by himself. Like, it's no problem. And it wasn't ever an issue with me. I was like, we hung out at school. Like we're cool at school, but outside of school, I spent time with my dad. Like my dad was just my priority. He was my best friend, and I was learning so much from him, just from our conversations and everything. Like, I was so close with my dad. I mean, we were literally inseparable for like 5 years. And then he found a girlfriend at the same time I found Gavin. And it just kind of worked perfectly because he had found his and I had found mine. And we ended up just kind of like being able to branch off from each other into these relationships together, which was kind of cool. But anyways, getting off topic. So it was just me and my dad, and for a few years, and I never wanted to hang out with people outside of school. I was like, we're cool in school, but outside of school, I hang out with my dad and spend time with my dad. Well, because of that, I never developed those outside of school memories with people. I never had those bonds that you make with people outside of class. I always just had people found me as the comedian in class because I was snapping on people, or I was snapping on the teacher, or I was always doing something. So I was always cool with everybody. I was cool with everyone, probably because I didn't hang out with anyone outside of school for there to be any drama anyways. And I wasn't really a drama person, and also being around groups of people gave me anxiety. I'm not a people person, but I'm definitely a one-on-one person. And if I can get the opportunity to talk to people one-on-one and have them get to know me personally first and then hang out with them all together at once, then I can be fine. But if I just walk into a group of people and I don't know any of them and I've never had a conversation with them and they haven't really gotten a chance to know me yet, it's really hard for me to talk. Like, that ain't gonna cut it. It's just not. So when my dad and I had those few years to ourselves, I switched schools one time and I joined the GLIBIC program when I was 15. And that was the Great Lakes Bay Early College program. And I absolutely loved the program. It was awesome, but because I left high school at 15 and started to go to college, no one in high school wanted to be friends with a 15-year-old going into a college, and no one in college wanted to be friends with a 15-year-old. So I was just cooling by myself. I was like, all right, well, the only way I'm able to hold on to anybody I was friends with throughout like school, like all the schools I've been to, the only way I'll be able for people to get to know me, the only way anyone will ever know who I am is to just post, is to just put my life on social media and be like, this is what I'm doing now. And it was so crazy because even though I never held on to the friendships, I still had those friendships. So people from all those schools I had been to would be like, oh my God, they'd slide up on a story from Instagram or Snapchat. They'd be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long, how are you? So I always hung out with people sporadically, but I never had that solid friend group or that solid friendship. And the only way people ever got to know me was just for me to post on Snapchat, was for me to post on Instagram. And my family and my little brothers encouraged me to get on TikTok because they had seen like how I was on Snapchat, how I was on Instagram. And so since I was 15, I was always posting. That was the only way for people to hear me. That was the only way for people to get to know me. So since I was a kid, I just watched the numbers kind of slowly rise on my Snapchat and on my Instagram from me sharing so much of myself on a platform, because in my actual life, I had nobody. Like in my actual life, it was just my dad and I. And I don't regret that at all. I don't regret, telling people I couldn't hang out with them. I don't regret never going to a party. I've never been to a party either. I got invited to a few parties, but I never went because it scared me. I went to a party with Gavin for like the first time. It was like my first real party. And we went there and I was so nervous. We stayed in the garage like the whole time, and I was just like fiddling, and I was shaking, but he calmed me down throughout it, and it was, he was there for me and everything, which was great. But just because of the lack of experience that I put myself in for social events was my own fault. It kind of was, because I wanted to spend that time with my dad, which I don't regret at all. We went to Tigers games, to basketball games. We went bowling. We did everything together, grocery shopping, our car rides every day out to my college. Like, we developed this such strong bond with each other. And so I gravitated towards social media. It was the only way I was able to have a voice. It was the only way for anybody to get to know who I was. Because other than that, no one would have any idea who I was. Because no one wanted to be friends with a 15-year-old going to college. And no one in college wanted to be friends with a 15-year-old. And that's just kind of how it went. So when I was in that weird position where no one really wanted to be friends with me because of my age and stuff, I just went like 4 years up. No, it would be 3 because I turned 18. So I went 3 years not really having any friends, not really having a solid friend group. So when people started to reach out to me when I turned 18 and they wanted to be friends or they wanted to hang out, I was like, nah. I've been cooling by myself for 3 years. Like, I don't know. I had no interest in holding on to friends anymore. I was like, at that point, I was like, no one stays. Every person that comes into my life, I will cherish in the moments that we have together, but I am not going to put you on a pedestal. I'm not going to call you my best friend. I'm not going to because you're not going to stay, is how I felt for a while. I was like, I'd rather just hang out with people sporadically and have great memories together in those random moments that I've hung out with you, rather than, I guess, develop a strong friendship, just because I never had that until recently. My friend Haley, I met her through my ex. Just leave that alone. And she and I have, like, definitely created a friendship together, and she's probably someone that I trust, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why I'm getting into that. Let me backtrack. Let me just leave that alone. There's so much to it, but on why I gravitated towards social media. I basically just didn't have any friends. I just didn't have anyone that was consistent and that could stay in my life, because I'd gone to so many schools, and then 3 people left my dad and I at once, and it was just him and I in this big house, and I couldn't find in my heart of hearts to go and hang out with my friends after school when I just got done hanging out with them at school. I'd rather go home and spend some time with my father and cook dinner with him and have our conversations that have, thankfully, I feel like, have pushed me towards positive things in my life. Definitely. The conversations that I've had with my dad have definitely, I feel like, impacted me in a different type of way, because I was 15 going to college, and I had taken a communications class, and you don't take a communications class when you're 15 going to high school. So I learned in this class, and while also being in this class, I would ask my dad questions, and he would just show me different perspectives and different outlooks on different situations. And so would the class. The class would teach me, how to verbalize myself, how to be able to stand up for yourself, how to articulate yourself in a way so that other people can at least try to understand where you're coming from. So I always try to do that. I always try to look at different perspectives and different outlooks, and I always want to hear people's opinions, because on life, or just in general, because it opens different doors in my head and allows me to wrap my mind around things to understand why people feel the way they feel, or why people do the things that they do. And so I felt like the conversations that I had with my dad and the classes that I was taking at such a young age that you aren't given the opportunity to take in high school was allowed me to understand my feelings, allowed me to figure out how to articulate myself and how to verbalize my emotions with the understanding of the other person's emotions too, which I felt like a lot of young people my age lacked. I would be like, how do you not see the ripple effect of your actions? How do you not see that your actions have consequences? Or when I would see someone getting treated badly, I would just call them out for it. Or if I see someone doing something that they shouldn't be doing, I would be like, dude, do you realize what you're doing? And everyone would be like, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to leave alone. I'd be like, nah, I'm going to say something. And then I'd tell them, or I'd stand up for people in high school. I remember this one girl, I'm not going to tell her story, but I stood up for her, and she got so mad at me. And then a few years passed by, and she DM'd me and was like, I'm really thankful that you stood up for me the way you did back then. I really needed it. I was embarrassed when you did it, but you had such good intention behind, what I was going through, and I appreciate you standing up to my bullies, basically. And I was like, of course. And I've gotten a lot of messages like that since, me leaving high school, and when I started to join, the Glibic program, a few years after those people graduated high school. I don't know how many people from, middle school, at least 6. Definitely at least 6 people had DM'd me and had been like, I just need to say thank you for the way you stood up for me when we were kids. Because the reason, I just remember just people just telling me, they just weren't close with me because I was so vocal. I didn't take no shit, and I'm gonna call you out for your shit because that's bullshit. So I think partially, I know some people didn't want to be friends with me because people don't want to hear the truth, but I would only do it if they asked me. I would be like, if you're gonna ask me my opinion, then I'll give it to you, but if you don't ask me, then I won't say anything. I'll keep it to myself. So then when people would ask me my opinion, I'd be like, okay, well, this is what I think, and this is what I see as an outsider looking in, that, there's these traits that are happening, or there's consistent behavior from this person, and I don't know. I just felt like I lost friendships from how I was when I was so young, because most people aren't like that when they're kids. At least not that I know, because like my little brothers aren't like that. My little cousins aren't like that. And I don't know, I was granted an opportunity to go to college at a young age, and I felt like I could handle it. And from that though, I didn't really end up having any friends. But instead, I was able to voice myself on here and talk to you all and build a friendship and build a foundation of just support and love with all of you, and I'm so grateful and thankful for that. So gravitating towards social media gave me a voice. You guys gave me a voice. You guys showed me a different type of love that can't be found in reality, that can't be found just from one-on-one interaction, in my personal opinion. Oh wait, no, from group interaction, in my personal opinion. I have seen groups of people come together so strongly on social media and strive for positive impact and to strive for things that just are better for themselves or for others, such as charities, donations, GoFundMe pages, petitions, everything that has happened, especially within this year. I just feel like social media definitely does give people a voice, and it gave me a voice that I never would have had because no one wanted to be friends with me, which was okay. It's alright. You guys are my friends. You guys are my biggest support system, and I'm extremely grateful and unconditionally just love you all, like I just do. So the mirrors and stuff, this is what the details are. Tell me why you gravitated towards social media so much, and DM me a screenshot of you being subscribed to my YouTube channel, and even if you want to follow me on Instagram, that'd be great. Just DM it to me on my Instagram and share with me why you gravitated towards social media so much and in what way it has positively impacted you. Because I know that there's a lot of negative stigmas within social media and within media in general, but I just want this to be a pocket within social media that isn't negative, that obviously addresses negative things that happen, but doesn't dwell on them, because there is also positive things in the world, and the only way it's going to start is with us. So tell me why you gravitated towards social media so much, and how it has helped you, and in what ways it has helped you. I don't know, it stopped recording, but so also the reason I'm doing it's probably like, just show the damn mirrors, just give me a second. Okay. So the reason I am also doing a vanity mirror giveaway is because I have this tattooed on me. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a mirror, and it says, "Remember who you are." And I got it when I was younger, when I was like, I think when I was 18. But in it there are symbols. So in the R, there's semicolon, because semicolon was used as, there was a thing that was trending, and you got a semicolon for people who have attempted suicide, and it's supposed to be to continue on, that your sentence isn't over and that your life isn't over. And I had attempted suicide, so you guys aren't alone on that. That's a completely different topic that I'll touch on if you guys would like me to, just to know that you're not alone. Like, it's fine. You're not alone to feel those emotions and everything. I don't want to get into that. That's a totally different type of video. And I also have a symbol in the U. You can't see any of it right now, but I have a symbol in the U for eating disorders. It's like this, a symbol like that. That's for people who have developed eating disorders, and I don't struggle with it anymore, but I struggled with it when I was switching all of those schools and had moved in with my dad's house, had left my mom's. So I can relate on the eating disorders thing too, and I just want you guys to know that you're not alone. And I have the mirror because I used to struggle with mirrors. I used to hate the way I looked. I used to hate the person that I was because I just didn't have anybody that I was close to, and I felt like no one understood, when in fact a lot of people do understand. And I'm having this page and I'm doing what I do to let you guys know you're not alone, and also your feelings are completely valid. Like, trust me, they are. And if people are around you that are making you feel like your feelings are invalid, it's because they can't even start to fathom their own. So I have this mirror, and I have "Remember Who You Are" in it from Lion King. Remember who you are, Simba. And mirrors is also part of Disney's too, and it was always just a reflection to remember who you are and to never lose track. of the things that make you you. And that although I have these negative things that have impacted me, such as, you know, not even negative, but just, you know, my attention towards suicide and my eating disorder that I had for the year that I had it, for the years that I had it. And to know that although I dealt with that, that makes me me. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's not the person that I am now, but it was someone that I was, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. To just keep pushing forward and to know that, I don't know, everything in life is a step forward, not backwards. And I've always said that. That's always been a thing. And to always be an uplifter, not a downshifter. And what that means, okay, I'll just say it real quick. So when I say being an uplifter, not a downshifter, what I mean by that is being a downshifter. That's someone who comes into the room and just purposely like makes a shift in the room. They just fuck up the vibe. They ruin it. Like, they just come into the room with ill intentions already for no reason. So I'm always like, be an uplifter, not a downshifter. Not the person that comes in the room and just makes a shift in the room. Like, don't be that person, because there's no reason to be that person. Like, why do you want to bring down others just for your own evil, selfish endeavors? That shit's whack. Shit's whack. Anyway, so I have this tattoo for remembering who you are, and I'm giving away the 2 vanity mirrors, which I'm going to show you in a second. Giving away the 2 vanity mirrors, son of a bitch, so that you guys never forget who you are, and that although those things make up who you are, you also have a future ahead of you too. Like, it makes up who you are, but it's also not who you are. So remembering who you are is just remembering that you have your past, but you also have your future. Don't forget that, ever. So let me show you guys the mirrors. So check the fit real quick, and these are the mirrors. These are the 2 mirrors we're doing for a giveaway, son. Giveaway, son. Giveaway, 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 son. Okay, so this is what they do. All right, there's a little dimmer thing right here. So you just lightly, whoops, I'm not supposed to be flicking you off, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Okay, so you just tap like that. And then you just lightly hold it down. If you want to dim it. Oh, whoops. That's how it goes. Oh, I got brighter. And then you tap it again. And it'll dim. And then you tap it again. And then it's bright. And then you tap it again. No, I'm just kidding. So that's the same for both of them. Just tap. And tap it back on. And then if you want it to dim, you just hold it down. Oh my God, my fingers are so gross. But yeah, that's what they are. Pretty dope. Oh no. Bright. Light. So, these are the 2 mirrors. 2 vanity mirrors that we giving away, son. So, just DM me on Instagram a screenshot of you subscribed to my YouTube channel, and let me know why you gravitated towards social media and how it has positively impacted you in your life. Or what you intend on doing positively with your social media. Ooh, plot twist. Let me know. Don't forget, everything in life is a step forward, not backwards, and you are a gem. Have a good day.